Hey everybody, welcome back to the B-Main. I'm Gavin Grubbs. I got Scott Shive here with me. I had an insanely busy week. I got to go to the Rattler 250 down at South Alabama Speedway. Got to see our good friend Timothy Watson race. Got to go to the Martinsville race weekend, eat some hot dogs, get to see some pretty good racing, and I was actually on NASCAR race day. Then Corey Heim makes an insane move at Darlington last week. You really need to go watch it if you haven't. And the Cars Tour's biggest stars clashed at Wake County on Friday night. Well, Scott, this was a crazy race weekend, and last week too. Crazy 2 weeks of racing. Let's start out with the Rattler. You got to watch it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I luckily, my good friend Chase Folsom, who was actually one of the pit reporters, allowed me to aid in his account, and so no one was using it, so I was able to use his subscription to be able to watch him and get to watch the race as well. Honestly,
Just watch both races.
Seriously, and it was great. And I missed our good friend Rafe Slate involved in his issues, of which let's go ahead and start out the podcast with a great story. And why don't you tell it?
So me and Timothy, we're sitting there. We're sitting right outside turn 4, front row, right up against the fence, watching. And I'm watching the battle for the lead. And all I hear, caution. See the caution lights come on. Hear everybody get really quiet. And Timothy goes, "That was bad. Rafe was in it." And I look, I can't even see his car. Apparently, he got right reared, sent over the turn 4 little berm there, and went nose first into the tire barrier. Tires were all 4 off the ground when he hit the tires. Car just completely destroyed. Mangled race car. And we're sitting there. He's not getting out of the race car, and we start getting a little freaked out. And we're like, man, he's not out of the race car. His window net's still up. That's not good. And then, the safety guys are getting pretty calm. They go ahead and hook him up to the tow truck, and we're like, there's no way he can get back out there. What is he doing? So we didn't know if he was hurt a little bit where he just couldn't get out of the car, or if we didn't know what the deal was. So they drag him down to pit road, park him at his pit stall, and the guy who left reared him down there too. He ended up getting in it, and all you see is a water bottle just fly out the driver's side window of Rafe's car and hit the guy in the back.
Which, insane accuracy.
Yeah, I know. I texted him after the race, said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "I'm not hurting near as bad as the guy I hit with my water bottle."
Gosh.
I was like, oh.
I hate it for Rafe. I mean, a week and a half ago, he was winning
Rafe,
in Mobile.
That's a very funny comment. And
absolutely.
Spot on something, he would say that.
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely agree. So I hated that it turned out that way for him. And Jake Finch really, he went on to dominate. So, that was pretty much it. Roderick was fairly strong. Timothy actually got to practice that 62, and he said that car was really good. So it just was not quite enough. And Collin Allman, he was right there. I don't know what it is about Collin Allman and South Alabama Speedway. He's good other places, but when it comes to South Alabama Speedway, Collin Allman is at the front no matter what, because it was the same way in the Super Race. And, he nearly got Majeski.
By the way, one of the coolest facilities I've been to.
I love it.
It's cool because it's super easy to get around. The bleachers are right there, super easy to get in and out of the tracks. Pits are pretty nice. I like it. It is
it's great for you as well, is because you don't have to try to get through the track to get to the actual pits. Everyone's on the outside, so you can, even if it's you or anybody. But I know, but I'm saying even me, I don't have to leave the race to get to the pits. I don't have to wait for a caution or whatever I want. It's right there.
Yeah, it's great.
So
it's one of my favorite short tracks I've been to. Really cool. Also have a pretty good cheeseburger at the concession. It's a solid burger. It's solid track burger.
Solid stuff. I hated that I couldn't go, and we talked about this, and Timothy was like, "Man, why can't you be here?" Tristan was saying the same thing, and I was like, "Well, first of all, I'm at the beach. I went to my last ever fraternity formal at the beach in Destin."
What you could have done is, I know rental cars are expensive, but you can get a U-Haul for $20.
I don't got that kind of money.
You should have showed up.
But also, again,
hilarious.
It would have defeated the purpose because, again, I was there for the formal and it was Saturday night. It would have defeated the whole purpose. And so to the point, if I wasn't at this formal, I would have been at South Boston, and
Yeah.
because it was our first race weekend there, it was a smart modified weekend, and so I missed both of those things because you only get to do certain things once, and I am
Mhm.
blessed and lucky that I'll be at the racetrack for a lot and hopefully all of my life. And there are plenty of opportunities, hopefully, in the future for me. But you never get to go back and do college things. So we had a ton of fun. Had a day on the beach. We danced the night away, and it was a ton of fun. So, but
Oh yeah.
again, of course, I do love to be at the racetrack. I just wish I could have done both, but I was sadly unable to do both. But I mean, talk about the race between Allman and Majeski. I mean, Allman almost had him there at the end. He was coming.
I just can't believe Majeski saved it because he got into him pretty good
Yeah, they. I
out
mean,
of
they
four.
were
And
they
I
were
mean, nothing
bumping.
dirty, but I mean, just what you need to do in a super.
Yeah, no, I thought it was great racing, and I think
It
the
was
two of them
really
would have
good
said
racing.
that. Crazy to think that Majeski, that was his sixth Rattler win.
I didn't realize it was sixth. Wow.
Yes, I know, and I honestly, I I like Majeski, and he's so talented. But I really would have loved Allman to win because Allman, this is all the highest level that he does. Majeski, of course,
Mhm.
he's got a full time truck ride, and he's had a full time truck ride. So fifty
For years.
thousand would have meant a lot more to Collin Allman. So, but I mean, that's how the cards fell.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure second place paid out pretty well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just mentioning Sobo real quick. So our first race weekend of all the divisions is this upcoming weekend. So it'll be 3 days from when this episode is posted. So I'll be traveling up to Sobo on Thursday. And Gavin, I'm doing some. I've been doing some more stuff on my social accounts. So I'm trying to do some cool social stuff this year of just bringing people along with what a race weekend looks like, what note taking looks like, what a broadcaster does behind the scenes, all that cool stuff. But I'll be up in Sobo this weekend, and we'll get to talk about all the things that go down in our next episode. But that's enough about me. That's enough about Sobo. Gavin, you ended up at the Rattler, and then where'd you go from there?
Well, the Rattlers down in South Alabama. Our good friend Timothy, we were just talking about, he lives in Panama City. So I went and spent 2 days with them and their family. My parents went down there. My mom said, if you're going to make me go to 2 races, I'm going to go to the beach. And I was like, that sounds fair.
Did y'all actually go out to
So,
the beach itself?
I didn't. I don't
Well,
like the sand. I mean, I could have, but I
have you
didn't.
ever been
Mom.
in one of those like beach wheelchairs?
I haven't been in one of the powered ones, but I've been in one of the like normal push roller ones.
Okay.
I just am not a big fan of being on the beach. Like I don't know. There's water, and I got a swimming pool at my house. There's water in it. Not a big fan of swimming in the ocean. Not a big fan of. Oddly enough, I love being at the racetrack, but I don't really love huge crowds. It's weird.
That is very interesting. And you're
It's
very like
weird.
I like that's like I guess a
Everything the
lot of
racetrack is things I don't like when I'm not at the racetrack.
that is very
And like
true.
but I love being at the racetrack. It's funny.
You do, and you're near fearless at the racetrack too.
Yeah,
So you had some time at the beach.
it was good. And then sat and watched the Darlington race, so we can bounce around a little bit because that race was really pretty uneventful.
Yeah, I mean, biggest thing I think was
Reddick
Corey
already
Hunt.
has 4 wins.
Oh, Reddick, that
Well,
I
yeah,
would
Cup. That's
say.
the race we watched while we were
Okay, you watched Cup
setting at the.
race, yeah.
Yeah, we watched the Cup
Well,
race.
biggest
Set at
thing
the
for you
hotel
and
bar, had a
I.
few drinks.
Oh, that sounds fun. The biggest thing for you and I was Joey's worst day in a race car.
And he told me that. Like he said, this is the worst day I've ever had in a race car.
That's crazy. I mean, I don't think
It was just bad.
in all the years I've watched and been a fan of his, I've never seen a
Mhm.
race day like that where it's just that is the raw pace of the car.
I mean, they rolled it off the trailer. Were mid-30s in practice.
Yeah.
Qualified 33rd and ran. They were the slowest competitive car all day. There was the non-chartered car was out there, the 66. I can't remember. I think Timmy Hill was in it this week. But yeah, they were faster than it, and that was it. I mean, that 22 car was just off.
Yeah.
And we've seen races like that out of good teams before. We've seen days where, even in different generations of car, I mean, we've seen days where Kyle Busch is awful. We've seen days where Dale Jr. is terrible. We've seen in this car, decent drivers on good teams just be off. So it's not out of the ordinary to see, but it's just when it's somebody like you're close to, you're around that team and know everybody that puts all the hard work into this car, it is just frustrating to watch because you know that they were even more frustrated than you were watching.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I'm also going to say, talking about Darlington, and I think this episode we might bounce a little bit, who knows, but I want to talk about the trucks was my favorite race of the weekend. I think Darlington is absolutely one of my favorite tracks. I think I was hoping all weekend long that the Cup race was going to race like the O'Reilly race and like the truck race, because I think the tire and the surface of the Darlington racetrack are a perfect combination in that there is tire managing that you have to be aware of, but it's not. It's also about the car. Like I think the perfect race in my mind is a mix between tire management and raw speed, driver pace, car pace, all of that. Because I don't think it should be tire wear and tire wear alone. But I don't think it should be like no tire wear, like we've seen a lot in the past year and a half or so with, say, I guess a lot of the short tracks. I would say North Wilkesboro. Like North Wilkesboro is fun, but like North Wilkesboro would be a ton better if we had tire wear. Now it's different because they repave that surface.
It's a fresh repave.
Right, but like that's what I'm saying. Like the short tracks have been where we have struggled, and it's because we've had no tire wear, but then also this whole deal with the car. But Darlington was excellent in my opinion, and I think the racing showed that. I think it was a great day for Caden Honeycutt. Qualified on pole, was nearly gunning for the win, and I think some late race cautions really took it away from him. He made a couple mistakes on his own, but I think the cautions really drew in Christian Eckes, Ross Chastain, Corey Heim, because I think for a while it was really just Honeycutt and Chastain. But then Eckes, I mean, his car was getting better and better and better and better throughout the run, and then Heim, I mean, without the cautions, he wouldn't have been in it at all. I mean, they made some strategy calls, but, I mean, Heim, honestly, in that 5 car, they were not great in comparison to what Heim normally does throughout the entirety of the race. And that's where, I mean, the end of the race, he did Corey Heim things.
I mean, that was insane. That was nuts.
And it was exhilarating to watch. Even if we hadn't had that, it still would have been a great battle for the lead. But Heim showed, even in that car, like, he runs with the one team, and everyone that's on the one team now with Caden Honeycutt, the 11.
The 11.
Is who he was always with. He's shown good stuff in the one car that he's raced a couple times. This is the first ever time that he was in. No. When he raced in the one.
Oh, the one. I got you.
Yeah. Now, this was the first time he raced with the team who was with the 5. So I think it showed that they did quite know each other as well when it comes to actual racing. But again, like I said, he did Corey Heim things at the end, and when he was in a position lull, the team put him on a good strategy at the end, and he went and just drove his butt off and used those fresh tires to his advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great drive by him. He had fresher tires, which at Darlington is huge, like we talked about. But what impressed me is he wasn't doing it running the traditional line. He was below the white line where the track is less banked. So really, the advantage of tires goes away a little bit, but he was still being able to outdrive everybody.
Yeah, well, I think
it was awesome.
I thought it was great too. While we're on the topic, and we might as well stay here while we're here, at what point do we think Honeycutt qualifying on pole and racing up front is a step forward? Or I think it's so difficult for Honeycutt to come into this 11 car after what Heim has done the past 3 years, and over nearly 30 wins, and he won a championship, and he arguably probably could have won the championship all 3 years, and in a chase format probably would have won the championship all 3 years. But Honeycutt, it's obviously clear that this is a difficult seat to step into with who was just in it.
Well, yeah.
I think so far, with what he did last year and what he's done now, I think he's proving that he is getting up to a level where he's going to be winning in this car. I think we're going to see Caden Honeycutt winning in the Truck Series, but I think it's very easy for people to forget that what the last driver did in this car is nowhere near normal. There are very few people that can do what Connor Zilic can do when hopping into a car, Corey Heim, and drivers like that. When Joey in his early days, or any of these other stellar drivers, like even Ty Gibbs when he came quickly up through the ranks. At these levels, like Chase Elliott, like O'Reilly and Truck, we'll exclude the Cup Series right now, but when a driver comes up as a rookie year in maybe their first 2 or 3 years and does insane things, there are only a very few list of names you and I could name right now. So
maybe Tyler Reddick.
Reddick, I would say him, but that's 7 names we just named, and there's maybe a couple others. That's over the span of 15 years.
15 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's very easy for fans to forget that if not Corey Heim wasn't in this car before, you'd be saying, okay, Honeycutt, this is he's putting up a challenge here, and so I think for me, if I can put him into a perspective right now and take some of those biases away, I would say, if I'm a team owner, if I'm a viewer, I'm saying this guy is performing to where we expect him to right now.
Yes.
That was the whole point I was trying to circle around to make.
Yeah, no, I got you.
So, because I mean I like Honeycutt.
He's in second in the points.
Exactly.
And he has gotten 3 top 10s in 4 races.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's up front. He's staying up front.
He is. So, I think we can continue with your race weekend because we're just jumping. We're at Darlington with you and Timothy watching it.
Yeah. That was really why we talked about Darlington. Me and Timothy were just sitting there hanging out.
Hey, we might just follow your past 2 weeks, and that might be how we structure the episode.
I mean, we can do that. Then we went. I got to go see his race shop. It's cool. I like their race shop.
I love it, dude. And that was before.
They get some clean floors,
dude.
They got some shiny floors in there.
It's nice. I love it, and I really want that upper room to be done where they have the deck and everything. They're gonna put a pool table up there. No, dude, that'd be great. I would love that. Gosh, I'd love to wake up in there. Me and Timothy would work on the car. It'd be fun. But yeah, they got a nice race shop.
Yeah, it's cool. So after that, when we went to Martinsville, there was a lot of racing happening around Martinsville that I didn't get to go to.
Didn't you go to Millbridge?
Or I did go to Millbridge. Yeah, I completely glossed over that. Let's go to Millbridge. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is the middle of your week.
I love that. I love Millbridge. Might be the coolest experience you can have as a hardcore race fan, or somebody who is trying to work their way into the industry of whether it be short track racing, dirt racing, or NASCAR. If you're trying to get into the industry at a starting point, like how the two of us are very early in our working jobs doing it, it is such a cool experience because there's probably less than 500 seats there.
Yeah.
So the only people that go there are either locals or people that are going there because their friends are racing.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's not normal fans just walking around, and you don't have the option of a normal ticket. You buy a pit pass and sign a waiver. Like, you have to buy a pit pass to get into Millbridge.
Yeah.
It's super cool. But just going there, hanging out, getting to see all the people there is just so cool because it's a time to see everybody in racing, or not everybody, but a lot of people in racing in their natural environment where there's not lines of fans following them around.
Mm-hmm.
Because I looked at the entry list when I was on my way there. I was like 10 minutes from the track. So I was like, I wonder who's all racing tonight. And I was looking. Haley Deegan was racing. Taylor Gray was racing. Sheldon Creed was racing. Cannon McIntosh was racing. I'm like, okay, Caden Quapple raced. I was like, okay, this is going to be a fun night.
Yeah.
Like when I saw all those names. And so I talked to Carson Quapple. I talked to him quite a bit. He was there working on one of his friend's cars. Talked to him. Super cool guy. Just one of the most down-to-earth guys in racing. He seems like one of those guys that sometimes I don't think he realizes he is what you would call famous. Like, I don't think he knows.
Carson, I think, is one of those people that would love to. I think he's very nice to his fans. I think.
Yeah, but he's not
no
a
doubt
super outgoing guy.
Well, I was gonna say none of this to say he's not nice to his fans or anything like that. But I think in his ideal world, he loves to support Bass Pro, get in the race car and do some racing, and go fishing.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's it.
That's it. Like if I didn't talk to him on iRacing and stuff, I feel like conversations with him would be very very dry, very quiet. But he's super cool. Taylor Gray was racing. I've never actually talked to Taylor. I've talked to Tanner a bunch. He was actually there. Talked to him for just a little bit. So Joey's crew chief, Paul Wolf, his son races in the restricted class, and he's starting to race in the winged outlaw class this year. Won the restricted race by an entire straightaway. Dominated the other kids. Like, he was just great. He's got a good future ahead of him. He's with Chad Boat now this year, which is, I mean, you know as well as I do how good of a team that is. And I was talking to him. He's 13, and this is going to sound dumb because I'm the guy who's never been in a race car. I'm over here trying to give him advice. I'm like, you do realize everybody who races for Chad Boat, you do realize every person that you have at your disposal to get better at running a micro sprint. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, do they help you out? And he's like, yeah, if I ask. And I'm like, well, you need to ask because I'm like, I don't think he realizes, like, he has Kyle Larson that he can lean on. He's got Ty Gibbs. He's got Logan Seavy, Dason Pursley. He's got Jade. Like, he's got
wild information bank.
Like, and I'm like, dude, and his dad's one of the best crew chiefs in NASCAR history too. Like, I'm like, do you realize, like, you have the perfect opportunity to be like an insane race car driver? And he's just like, yeah. Because he's 13, like, he's just a kid. He's like, yeah, that's cool.
Well,
and
I'm like, just the drastic like, think about the drastic difference in a 13-year-old to Keelan Harvick. Like, Harvick,
and Keelan Harvick's 14. Like, they're only a year apart.
Exactly, but like even that, like Harvick a year ago at 13, like he's especially in front of a camera, he's so stood up. He's so much older than he really is. Like when you get him just in a normal scenario, he'll act more like a kid, and not in a bad way. I'm just like very free spirited. He can let loose and things like that. But it's so interesting to see the difference between levels that they're at, because guys like Keelan, they've had to pose themselves in this light, not fakely, but just like they're in a different light than other people are at that age, and it's something that we've never seen before. So when you talk about Paul's son, it's just like,
Cade's a cool kid.
I guess that I could talk to them. That's cool. I'm just gonna do this.
And I'm like, I was like, "Do you talk to him something?" He's like, a little bit. I was like, "Did Jade help you at all last week?" And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, do you realize everybody Chad Boat has racing for him? And it's funny because, I mean, he's 13 and he's around racing is so normal to him because it's been his whole life. I'm sure, like, if I talked to him, we could probably get him on here some. It'd probably be the first podcast he's done. He's a really quiet kid, but, like, trying to explain to him how great everybody he has in his corner. I don't even think I don't know if he realizes how good, like, Logan Seavy and Dason Pursley are to him, or even, like, Kyle Larson is probably not that much because him and Owen are friends.
Yeah.
So he's probably just like, oh, it's just Owen's dad.
Yeah, probably.
And I'm like, does he realize the insane amount of, like, help
knowledge
he has right at his fingertips? And he's just like, yeah, I'm having fun racing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, if I was in his shoes and I'm, a couple years older than two or three of the drivers I named, and I'm like, I would be asking them so many questions.
Yeah, but to be fair, you're 24 and he's 13.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just funny to see. I'm interested to see how as he grows up, how his career is going to go, because he's a super cool kid.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, Haley Deegan was racing. I went and talked to her for a few minutes. She's super cool. Her and Chase Cabry were over there. Talked to them. Carson Hocevar was just there hanging out. Like, he's just there hanging out. Like, I go over there to say hi to her.
Once you're a professional driver, what else do you have to do on a weeknight?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I saw Carson, I was like,
not saying they don't have lives, by the way.
Yeah, no. But, I mean, Carson was at the Snowball down there. He was at World Series Asphalt. So I've seen him more in the past 3 months than I've seen literally anyone else in NASCAR. And I go up to him like, dude, I feel like I've seen you like every 2 weeks. And like, dude, I know. And it's funny because I've only had one conversation with him before, but like we see each other in passing a lot. And just talking to him in an environment like Millbridge when you're not, you don't have cameras on you. You're not walking with your PR guy or meeting with your team. It's just super cool. I just love that environment of Millbridge. Like, if you get a chance to go on a Wednesday night, when you're out there, you have to
I was
go
gonna
and
say
just
it. Like
go
once
hang
I
out.
get up there, I can pretty much go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
It'll be a lot cheaper for me.
and like it's so cool, but I don't know. I could just talk about how much fun it is to go there for hours.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's just a cool place, and the racing's insane.
Yeah. Well,
So can you tell that I like micro sprints and
oh, I can
midgets?
tell. Oh, I can tell. I
They're
had no
super fun to
idea.
watch.
I had no
Yeah, yeah,
idea.
yeah. A year of this, and who would have thought that I like open wheel dirt racing? Who
Oh,
would have thought?
what? Well, speaking of open wheel dirt racing, I guess throughout your week, High Limit, they went on FS1, and I can't remember what track were they at that night. What was
Vado
it?
Speedway in
It
New
was
Mexico.
Vado? Okay.
Yeah, it
Dude,
was Vado.
dude, some of the sunset shots that they showed, did you see that?
Beautiful.
Oh my
Beautiful.
gosh. That is the perfect, like, I wish I should go back and see photographers from there and see what they did, because that when they showed shots of the sunset and the mountains in the background and some of the track, like, I was like, this is beautiful. I was like, I so wished I was there just to take photos. Like, photography is one of my little hobbies. Like, I enjoy photography and I want to get better at it, and I think I'm pretty decent. Landscape is my favorite. Now, I enjoy taking photos of race cars, and I think I'm decent at it, but there are a lot of people that were a lot better than me. But landscape is my favorite. So when I combine the racetrack and landscape, dude, I just saw those shots from TV and on Flow, and I was like, I want to be there to take photos of this right now, to have this forever. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh. But hey, Seavy made a start with Aspire Motorsports with Chad Boat.
Well,
but it was Aspire, wasn't it?
Well, it was Aspire assisted, I think.
Okay, so it was Chad Boat's.
It's Chad Boat's team.
Okay,
yeah.
But it was Aspire assisted. Okay.
I think Spire gives some funding to them, but I don't know because Spire's Chevy with NASCAR, Chad Boat's not Toyota himself, but very strongly aligned with Toyota.
Right.
Toyota's drivers, it's like the Donnie Wilson deal. Toyota's racers race for him, but he's not
a Toyota team. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a Donnie Wilson thing.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I'm sure Spire did help out a little. Like I saw that on the front, and they kept mentioning Spire, but I don't know all the logistics of that. I just know.
Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, no matter what, I mean, we know what we know about Logan Seavy, but that's USAC. That's open wheel non-wing, and he said it himself in an interview pre-race. Talking about before the dash, talking about I'm still figuring out these wings, and he went out and ran second and nearly finished second before the last 5 laps. Like he was competing
and had a shot to win.
Yeah, seriously.
Like he said, and it was funny. I don't know exactly how true it was, or if he was just exaggerating. On his, I think it was Instagram or Twitter post race, he was like, "I forgot I could adjust the wing."
That's such a real comment.
Yeah, he's like, "I forgot I could adjust the wing,"
and
I'm like, and you could tell because as the track changed, that's when he got slower.
Yeah.
When the track got rubbered up on the bottom and he
I was going to say, because he was just moving down that bottom line. And then he started to go searching in those last about 7 laps because I think the bottom was just fading. And when he started changing it up where he was, either I thought he just wasn't able to find the line.
Or the bottom was fading for him because everybody else was moving down to the bottom. But I guess they were, adjusting their wings.
I imagine so.
Align the grip on their car,
Yeah.
And so his car is set up for early race still. He hadn't adjusted on it. Yeah. And so it wasn't as much as the bottom faded as he just wasn't.
And that's what I thought. I thought the bottom was fading and that he was trying to go find it elsewhere and it wasn't there.
And I don't think he was good on the bottom anyway. Like you saw him making most of his speed ripping the top.
Yeah. I thought he was gaining some at the bottom though.
It was a little bit here and there. I think he was fastest up top, but I guess we'd have to go back and watch because this was almost a week ago.
Yeah, seriously.
About Ryan Timms late in the race, going from 10th to 3rd in like 5 laps.
Ryan Timms. I like him a lot.
Okay. We've talked about this before, where Ford's development program, they don't have very many drivers. And what I've gathered recently, just a little bit of piece-by-piece information from different people, is that Ford is in the process of reinvesting into their lower series and short track programs.
That's good.
Which is good. But, I mean, Ryan Timms has to be the first driver you call up. Because I think Ryan Timms is the best non-Chevy, non-Toyota short track driver.
I want to see him in Asphalt, though.
Under the age of 20.
Okay. I want to see him in Asphalt, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't know what he can do in
That's
Asphalt.
What I'm saying. That's why I'm not so quick to jump to that, because...
No, I'm just saying in general, not necessarily Asphalt.
I'm saying he's someone you definitely look at.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's the best for NASCAR, or it's going to translate. I'm just saying he is the fastest teenager that's not with Chevy or Toyota.
That's a fair assessment.
And he won the Knoxville Nationals.
Yep, that's true.
And so, it always runs good at the Chili Bowl, always does good at the Tulsa Shootout. Like, he's just good.
It's true.
So that's why if I'm Ford, I think hearing that there's rumors, not exactly organized, but they're in the process of figuring out, hey, we're going to start really focusing on some short track trucks, O'Reilly series. Like, Ryan Timms has to be one of the drivers you're like, maybe you're not going to put him in a truck immediately, but you're going to be like, hey, we need you. You're really good. Let's put you in a pro late model, see what you can do on asphalt.
Yeah.
And I would say Ryan Timms, to me, is the first driver you're going to call up.
I think he's one to look at. Here's what you and I need to do. We've talked about this before. Mm-hmm. We need to. You and I talk about prospects a lot, and I want to.
I like having a prospect board. Like
that's what I wanted to talk about.
I have a note on my phone where I have like a list.
We need to make an official list, and we could post it on our socials. We can add to it, maybe take away from it, all this stuff. But like people, you're probably under the age of 20.
I'd say under 21. I'd say under 21.
Under 21 that we're looking at that haven't that are not in the top. I would say maybe you could look at ARCA, but like pretty much ARCA and below, or maybe not even ARCA.
So just short track.
Basically, I mean we've said it before, and we're saying it again to fans of just people that we see that have talent that could be something someday or go somewhere someday. I mean, I'm restating what we said before. We've mentioned it many times on the show. I'm just thinking, all right, this is us saying to the fans, we're going to make a list. So now we have to make a list.
Yeah. So Ryan Timms, Keelan Harvick, guys like that.
Yeah, but Keelan, I mean, we put Keelan on there, but.
Well, Tristan McKee's in ARCA.
Like, I'd put Paulie Hartwig the third on there. I'd have put him on there last year.
Dude, he's like, I'm a big fan
is it Yantis? Is it
Jet Yantis? Yeah.
Yeah. Who finished top 5? What was it? Top 10 in the Chili Bowl? Or
top 10 in the Chili Bowl.
Yeah. Okay.
And you just
Yantis.
watched that race.
I know. Though I was trying to. That's what reminded me of it, because I was like, oh, Jet Yantis, because it reminded me of Chili Bowl and his great performance.
And I think Jet Yantis has got to be another driver that they're going to go after.
Hey, look, you might as well. So, but yeah, Ruetzel ends up winning the race. My guy, first repeat winner of the high limit season in 2026. Also, I gotta say, I think the rebrand this year with Interstate Batteries and the new logo,
I like it.
Clean.
I like it.
I actually went to look at like merch for high limit because I love the look of that design so much. Mm-hmm. Sadly, I felt the merch was a little bit lacking. Nothing at anybody in graphic design. My mom's a graphic designer, all this stuff. Not taking any shots at anybody, but I was like, darn. I just didn't see. Yeah. I wanted like a shirt with maybe a embroidered logo or like the bright logo or something like that. And some of it was just too bright, too many colors. And you know me, my hats. I have a small head.
Hats.
I do. No. I have a small head though. I like hats. So I have a small head.
Weird.
They fit weird for me. So
they fit weird for me. I understand.
That's why you see me wearing my Sobo hat all the time and my NASCAR hat, because they're the only ones that fit. So, but anyway, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just want to mention the viewership numbers. 183,000 viewers across both platforms, Flow and Fox. That's pretty good, I feel like, for a non-NASCAR, non-ARCA, non-IndyCar series.
I mean, I want to say that last year the numbers on the North Wilkesboro race for the Cars Tour was near the 200,000.
Yeah, and I think
when they were on FS1.
The sprint car high limit at Eldora was about the same. So if we're looking at Cars Tour and high limit, putting similar numbers on the national stage, and honestly, they're not far off of ARCA, and I think a little bit ahead of Indy Next. We got to get more short track racing on TV.
Yeah,
I love
I
the idea that High Limit's doing with putting, I think, 6 or maybe 8 of their midweek
I think it's
races.
6.
6, so 5 more of their midweek races on Fox in midweek short track racing. I think that is where they can be on the national TV is midweek when, there's not college football, there's not NFL on midweek really, and there's not there's baseball, but there's not really a midweek sport. And back in the 80s, 90s, very early 2000s when Speed Channel, or actually it was on ESPN for a while, your Thursday Thunder, when it was usually USAC or World of Outlaws, like bring something like that back on Fox.
Yeah.
Fox has got the Speed brand back, not as a channel, but as a podcast, digital media with Kevin Harvick, Will Buxton. Like bring back something along those lines of Thursday Thunder brand, or maybe now because High Limits midweek is Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday Thunder.
Well, I can't say it for 100% certainty, but last week, Flow actually, they are launching Flow 24/7 on the Roku channel and Apple TV. And I don't know.
Race replays.
Well, exactly.
24/7 race replays.
But I can't say because I'm trying to look for it to see, but I don't know if it's free. But I think you can just go. I think you can go on the Roku channel and just click on Flow Racing 24/7, which is what I think. I don't think if you have a Roku TV, you can go do that.
And you can do it on YouTube, I think, too. So
I think that's a great way that Flow is trying to get their stuff out to regular viewers, and that you can just plug on Flow 24/7 and say you start liking some of the races replays that you're seeing. You're like, well, maybe I should subscribe to Flow. And then you go and you ingest the content at Flow Racing, and you're like, whoa. Like, that's just a great outreach that I think is something that Flow is doing. I think there's a lot more. I think it takes a lot of creative idea, and you can be limited even in the world today with how wide social media is. But I think this is a good step in saying, hey, this is something we can do that if people are bored on their Roku TV, they turn us on and maybe that they enjoy.
Yeah. So I like that they're getting on the national stage, and I think we're going to get a few more races. I hope Cars Tour decides or works out a deal with Fox where they can get back on TV as well, like they were last year. Because, we wouldn't have this podcast if we didn't love short track racing.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes a deal again. I think it was going to happen this year. We'd already know. So, and I think it really worked out that it was the All-Star weekend. I think that's probably why it's not happening, at least as of now this year, because I think it just worked out. The Fox was like, hey, we're already here. It's your production, and then it's kind of just on FS1. But I guess it just doesn't quite make as much sense this year now with the All-Star race being at Dover. But to be fair, I don't think the Cars Tour North Wilkesboro race is on that. It's not on that weekend anymore. It's moved now. So I guess honestly, that makes me think about what track else could we get on FS1 that wasn't just North Wilkesboro? Like
I think Hickory or South Boston would both be
good. I was gonna say
Dominion. I would say those are the 3 you have to look at because I feel like, or Langley. I feel like those are the 4. To me, those are the premier 4 short tracks in North Carolina and Virginia.
I think so.
Like those are the big 4. I feel like.
I think if it wasn't brand new and fresh, like I think if the Cars Tour, this wasn't a new track for them, I think Nashville Fairgrounds would be a cool one to be on Fox because I think a lot of people know about Nashville Fairgrounds and it has such a rich history as well with NASCAR. Same with all the others. Same with the 4 you just mentioned. But and I know you got a lot here in dirt. I know you wanted to mention the KKM Classic.
Okay. And
this kind of happened before Martinsville, Well,
this was all week, and I just want to talk about the last 2 nights because I was, when I was just in my free time just watching these because, like I was talking about, loving micro sprint racing. Jade Avedisian been on the podcast. She actually got a micro win, first dirt win in a couple of years because she's been away from dirt.
Yeah,
stepped away from dirt for a couple of years. while she was really focusing on developing as a late model driver. Hops in, micro, goes out there, racing some pretty good micro drivers, really strong field. She even talked about it. I'm not great. She said after the race, I got to work on my restarts because at the start of the race, she fell down to 7th. But as the top came in, she was, tail tank was all but touching the wall, right rear as far on the cushion as you could get without hopping over it, and just blew past everybody, got to the lead.
Yeah.
Jumped out of the car, gave the money sign. We love it. And I feel like that's the most excited I've seen her for a win or good run in a long time.
Yeah.
Because, usually when she wins, she doesn't show a lot of emotion. She's like, man, I'm ready to win again.
Yeah.
And after this one, she was really celebrating. A lot of her family and friends were there too, so they had a big celebration. And then the second night, Jet Yantis, who we just mentioned, and Aiden Purdue had a 5-lap battle where they were just throwing sliders back and forth, back and forth. Like you.
I was gonna say I just watched it.
Yeah, and I think it was like from 25 to go to 20 to go, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then the late caution where Jet's throttle hangs and he just boom into the wall. And also to bring out that caution, Jade had driven up to the battle, to the top 2, or battle for top 3. Purdue and her made contact out of 2. She got in the wall, but I don't think it was anything terrible. I don't think it was intentional. I think it was just both of them ran out of room.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Aiden Purdue got the win after the insane battle with Jet and, holding off Jade as well. So shout out to him. But yeah, the KKM GiveBack Classic is a super cool deal. I like it.
Yeah, I think it's cool. And I think you mentioned it was cool just that it does give back, not only to the fans,
I don't know if
but as well the drivers.
This year. I don't know if they're doing it this year, but I remember a couple years ago, the last race they had at Port City in Tulsa, the winner got the Chili Bowl ride for KKM, but it ended up being a KKM driver anyway. It ended up being Gavin Miller, who was already part of the team. So
right.
I don't know if that's still part of it
yeah.
or not, but it is very big payouts for micro sprints. I think Aiden Purdue won $3,500, which for a micro sprint race, that's quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
World Outlaw Sprints was, there were some good battles. Macedo and Kofoid at US 36, and then Buddy Kofoid passing Ryan Timms in turn 4 on the last lap, threw a slider into 3. He was 3 car lengths back, insane slider. And then in the super late models on dirt, Ricky Thornton Jr. finally broke through and won. Yeah, it took him a while to get to victory lane.
Thank
this
goodness.
Year. Yeah,
hey, but it did last year too.
Yeah, I'm not worried about his point deficit right now. I think he's still got a huge shot. Devin Moran's leading in those points now as well.
Hey, honestly, we are in stride with exactly what was playing out last year. Devin Moran, hot start, was off to a points lead. Ricky Thornton Jr. hadn't won in a while. The only difference is that Hudson is winning this year at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
That's the only difference
and
compared to last year.
Tour.
That too. So, those are your big 4 players. Of course, you've got a lot of others in there, but those are your big 4 players. Brandon Overton. Let's see, Garrett Alberson's in there.
Brian Hurley.
Who is it? Buddy Shepard?
Here, one second.
Who am I thinking of?
Brandon Shepard.
That Brandon Shepard. Thank you. I was like,
wrong type of late model.
I know. I was like, who is it? I was like, Shepard. I was like, what is his first name?
Well, let me go check the standing. I got the standings pulled up now. Yeah, Moran's leading by 15 points over O'Neill. Overton's 95 points back. RTJ, he's setting in 4th. Max Blair is still in 5th.
Okay.
Brandon Shepard 6th. Clay Harris 7th, down from Florida, running really good.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Alberson 8th. Kyle Bronson 9th. Josh Rice 10th.
Surprised about Brandon Shepard. Where's he at?
6th.
Oh, okay. I must have missed his name. Okay, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll make sense then. I think.
And
yeah.
Shirley and Ferguson are 11-12. Dan Ebert is 13th, and that is all the drivers who've attempted every race.
Yeah. So.
It's the top 13.
We'll have to check back in on their points at some point, but I think we're in stride with what we were last year. I was just about to mention, I know that you next after Millbridge, and we got into our dirt aspect, I know that you went to Martinsville, but I think it is our time to chat a little bit about the insanity that was the Saturday night of short track racing at Hickory and Wake County. And it's my bet that we should talk about
And
Wake
this was
County with the
Saturday,
car
and this
store
was
first.
Saturday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and then Sandy at Martinsville.
Oh,
Saturday
no,
was crazy.
I know. Well, I want to talk about the short track stuff first because
I know.
I figure once we get to Martinsville, we'll stay with Martinsville. Cars Tour, I mean, let's go ahead. Everyone's been talking about it for the past couple days. Doug Martins Jr. and me, Tyrell. I want your opinion. It can be your full opinion, your half opinion, or your media-trained opinion, but let's hear it.
Well, I've never been great at the whole media-trained thing. I'm pretty good at holding my mouth, but sometimes I get wound up. So I'm going to go as much as I can give you without, stepping in, without going too far. Doug Barnes has a reputation, and Minnie Tyrell is a very hard driver. So when these two tangle, and they've got into it before, it's just going to boil over.
Mm-hmm.
Like every time with the two of them. And when we saw Barnes end up being suspended after it, because I can't even remember who made contact with who first, but as soon as they got to racing for the lead, they just started full contact racing. Tyrell jumped all the way up over, he was practically in Doug Barnes' car. And then Doug Barnes just ships him into the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird because as a race fan, you see really crazy short track action and you love it. But then also as a race fan, you're like, okay, this is kind of stupid. And you're making everybody look like a joke. Both of them.
Yeah.
But you have to, there's a balance there between great racing and stupid racing. And I think Wake County crossed that line a few times the other night.
Yeah, I think they were just moving each other. And yes,
well, you have to.
Well, okay, hold on. Yes, it's tight, but I mean, they were just bumping each other. Like it wasn't let me slide you up. I mean, it was slamming into your rear bumper and sliding you up the track. It wasn't a gentle nudge to get you up out of the groove. It was a shot, and like you said, the aggression started immediately, and I think that's what made it boil over. I think it started with Minnie's over-aggression in attempting to make the crossover once again in 3 and 4. He just cut too deep. He cut up onto the apron right where the wall is, and with where Barnes was defending from the inside out of 2, he had a terrible entry into 3. He was going to have a terrible entry into 3. Minnie knew that. He was going to have to slow way farther down to make the corner. And Minnie, he just wasn't patient enough in turning back down. He turned down while the 88 of Barnes was still there. While he was still to the outside, there was not enough width between the wall and Doug Barnes' left rear for Minnie to fit through. And I think it was just over-aggression by him. Because, yes, Doug Barnes, I think, had a fast car. I do think between the two of them, raw pace, I think Minnie was faster. So I think he was going to get back past him, I think, no matter what. And so I think it started there, and then obviously he wheel hopped up over him. And at that point, Doug Barnes Jr., like you said, he can get hot. I've chatted with him before. We've seen him race before. I hate flat-out wrecking dudes. Like, honestly, Minnie deserved a talking to after that race probably of saying, hey, man, you were way over-aggressive.
And he probably deserved to get moved, honestly.
He did. And I'm fine with moving a guy. Like, I really am. Like, I talk about, we're talking about, moving all this, but, like, I'm only saying that it started there. It shouldn't have begun with that we're aggressively shipping people. But moving is fine. Like, I love getting to a guy, affecting him, moving him up a little. But this, again, was shipping. But I don't like guys being over-aggressive, and I think Minnie was not patient enough at this point in the race. What I don't like more is people that strictly, straight-up retaliate. And I think it's dangerous, I think it's reckless, and I think it can kill people's equipment that they put time and money to. Doug Barnes Jr., we talked about how aggressive he can be. He should understand the sake of other people's equipment because he is running his own stuff. He's run his own stuff for a long time. I think last year with Lee Pulliam was the first and only year that he has run with a full-time team, and that wasn't fully his stuff. So I just hate people not that don't think through it about people's equipment. And I love Doug Barnes. Him and I have had some awesome conversations. I'm excited to see him at the racetrack. I've never gotten to meet many. I've heard he's a great guy, and I believe he's an excellent guy. I mean, there's a reason that so many people are many Tyrell fans. And I fully believe that there are two different people when it comes to when the helmet is on and the helmet is off. But I just think I dislike when people don't take a step back, and especially in moments like that, as best you can, and flat out wreck a guy.
Yeah, and I mean, we both like both these guys, and we know they're not two different. They're not two people that are more different, just in general, than Minnie Tyrell and Doug Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might be the most two opposite people that share a racetrack together, just in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how it is. So I think that makes them, I'm not going to say not like each other, but it just fuels that rivalry that we've seen develop between them even more.
Yeah. Well, and again, rivalries are great. Like, we love a good rivalry.
We love it.
This just went too far. And I think if you take the rest of what happened in that race out of this is a big story for the Cars Tour. And again, I don't like the intentional wrecking, but a rivalry is good. Like, rivalry is good for sports. Rivalry is great for racing especially. But again, this just went, we found the line. And I think Dale Jr. even said it. He made a kind of a public address that got posted today on Flow Racing's account just about what happened over the weekend and talking about impatience by the drivers, over aggression from the. I mean, Dale Jr. said what I just said about, people not respecting each other's equipment, all this stuff. And I think this was just kind of a moment of that, and it stunk.
Yeah.
I think, though, without what happened for the rest of the race, this is your biggest talking point. But I think the spotlight was nearly equally shared in cars running out of fuel in the last 30 laps of this race. Yeah. About 8 cars ran out of fuel.
And Connor Jones, one of the cars that ran out of fuel. So many cars ran out of fuel. He ran out of fuel and won because he was the first one to run out and worked back to the front.
Yep.
And you have to take a step back because as a sanctioning body and as race control, you don't want to throw the red flag. You don't want to stop a race when it's almost over. You just don't want to do it. You don't want to make fans wait around to run 4 laps. Like, you don't want to do that. But there's a line when cars start running out of gas that you have to make a decision. And I don't know if they made the right or wrong decision. I don't know the decision I would have made. But in a situation like that, you're going to make the wrong decision. Because can you imagine if the first car ran out of gas and they threw a red flag? People would be complaining about them. Oh, they're fixing this race so the crew chiefs that they like can finish the race in front.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
like, fans would be saying crazy stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, and it was a bad situation. And again, I don't envy Kip or Danny or anyone in these scenarios for having to make these decisions because I think being in race control, being a race director, all of it, everyone up in the booth in that scenario, it's a thankless job. And I'm so thankful for all of them. I want to work for them. Like, I want to work with them in the broadcast booth as I'm broadcaster there, RC and all that stuff. Like, I want to work with them. And so I love those people. And so, I know most of those people. And it's just one of those things where I think, again, I'll go back to Dale Jr.'s address earlier today, and that they had a situation last year where we had a fuel mileage race. I don't remember when it was, but this has happened recently. And Landon Huffman mentioned it in his interview, and that how frustrated he was. He said that people said that the next time this happened, that the Cars Tour was going to address it, and they were going to handle it. And he felt like they didn't. And again, I don't know what I would do in this situation, so I'm not going to speak for them. I think their job is already difficult enough, but this will they'll probably come up with a plan, especially after this event, that if they get to a scenario like this again, that there will be a plan. But it definitely was a bit of a wake-up call, I think, for the series itself of saying, yeah, we don't want this to happen again. But again, I'll go to their aid and their defense immediately as well. And back to Dale Jr.'s address, it is dangerous to refuel late model stocks, especially while they're on, like all this stuff. There is a whole ton of background with actually refueling a late model stock during a race that can be very dangerous. And so there were plenty of reasons that Kip and that anyone up with race directing and race control that they did not want to stop this race to refuel them. So I'll come to their defense probably most biasedly because, again, I want to work for them. I don't want to say anything that anything like that. But I think we have to be honest. I even chatted with Blake McAnallis and thought that they handled it so professionally in the booth. And he said, of course, it can be a delicate subject, but he was talking about, and I would say Eric Price say the same as well. Of what is happening in the race is what is happening, and I feel like as a broadcaster, you have to talk about that. Now, there's a certain way to talk about that, but you got to talk about what's happening, and it was clear that people are running out of fuel. So I guess that's my little take on it. And anyway,
yeah. So. Before we get into the NASCAR week, we still have ARCA to talk about.
Yes. Oh, good gracious.
Saturday was so crazy.
Saturday was insane.
What didn't happen on Saturday?
And we even had the modifieds, and I didn't even get to watch that.
Yeah, and the modified race was good. It was good. Shout out to Steven Kopsich winning his first Mod Tour race.
At Martinsville, nonetheless.
Yeah, it was good. It was an okay race.
Gosh, my goal one day is to race in the Valley Star Credit Union 300. And
yeah,
dude, I want to race at Martinsville.
Martinsville's cool.
I want
I like it.
I want to get there one day.
Yeah, but I want to talk about Hickory because
good gracious,
surprisingly, seems like a little bit out of character the way Landon S. Huffman drove because he's a very pretty reserved late model stock guy. Like you don't see him overstep his car very often or drive other people. You don't really see him rough people up, but. What him, Max Reeves, and Tristan McKee were doing to each other was just... I mean, they were all over each other.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't get to watch the whole race, so I can't say with certainty. But from watching some of the highlights and then listening to their interviews, it sounded like that once the caution came out that drew Max Reeves back in to McKee and Huffman, it sounded like that Reeves and Huffman were racing very, very closely. And it sounds like each of the other kind of felt like they started it and then were racing each other hard. And then that's when Landon Huffman started to really get into the bumper of the 18. But, I mean, just watching the highlight, I thought it was just, I mean, they were wrecking every lap and every corner. I mean, they were 3 wide, 4 laps in a row, exiting turn 2, just trading it back and forth and back and forth. And if it was, again, I like when you move a guy. I like being able to move a guy. But I think there are just certain scenarios where you don't need to move a guy. And there's just, it seemed like just senseless bumping and banging for no good reason.
And I feel like the main reason, I'm going to defend them just a little bit. The 18 car in ARCA, especially ARCA East, having a Joe Gibbs funded car at that level of racing is a little bit unfair.
I mean, it's a great car. I don't blame Landon S. Huffman for saying
you can't let that car get out front.
Yes,
because once it is out front, you cannot catch back up to it,
and that's fair.
You have to keep it behind you if you really, really want to win. You have to think, what am I willing to do to keep this car behind me?
And that is exactly what I felt from Landon S. Huffman's interview. He even said it in the interview. McKee and Max were better than him. That the cars were better, they were better, all of it. But he was like, I am close and have a shot. So I don't blame him in that scenario. And to be fair, he didn't wreck anybody. But again,
he almost maybe himself.
Well, he did, and he shot it a little hard in there on the inside of McKee and got himself loose into turn 1. I will say though, again, race for the win. But I think if I am a team owner or I'm any other drivers looking at Landon S. Huffman, I think, okay, he's driving recklessly rather than racing smart. Like if you absolutely know that these cars are better than you, race them hard, but don't near destroy them. Because again, even if you finish third, people are going to look at the two cars, they're going to look at the drivers and look at, oh, well, you finished third in this field behind these two guys. Those are, great guys, they're great cars. Like as a team owner, if you're actually looking for drivers and if you're looking for future talent, you're not going to be biased. You're going to break down the facts of all this stuff of saying, let's look at these events, let's look at the results and all this stuff. And so, but I think partially he could have hurt himself in this in being so over aggressive. So, and then, I mean, you talk about the Max Reeves interview.
Oh, I mean, he's a 16-year-old kid. I'm not going to be too hard on him.
Yeah.
And you have to take that into consideration. When people are mad at the interviewer, say, oh, man, I don't like him anymore. I'm like, he's 16.
I was going to say, and Lance Huffman is young as well. Like, and I've met Lance Huffman. He's awesome. Like,
yeah.
Same with Max. I like Max.
I wouldn't describe it as a bad interview. I would more describe it as, I mean, he's with Gibbs. He's been with Joe Gibbs for a year now, and
it was just a little arrogant.
They support him, and I think he's wanting to be what Kyle Busch was 20 years ago.
Hey, and look.
And that is a very, if you want to, taking that mentality, and you're looking at it, and you're like, okay, I can see it. He even mentioned
he was a little arrogant. He was a little arrogant for me, but to be fair, he has the results to back it up.
Exactly, especially in ARCA. And so I don't know. I don't think it's as big of a deal as people are making it out to be.
I think we had to address it.
I don't think it's going to be that bad of a look later on. Because
no, I think people will forget about this.
I think he's a kid, being a kid.
Hey, and that you couldn't have said it better.
It's just being a kid on a somewhat national stage in front of a camera.
Yeah. No, I don't think you could have said it better.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. But it was funny. In watching it, you're like, it's one of those things you shake your head at.
Well, before we move on to either mods or Martinsville in general, let's hit up our bonehead and badass of the week. Gavin, I'll start with you.
I've been thinking about it because I had a lot of options for both of these. I'm going to do my bonehead first. So the local driver, Clay Jones from Wake County, during the race, he was leading, which he did have some damage, so I understand what he was trying to do. But you have to know the rules of the race you're in. He was dragging his car along the wall, trying to rip his right front fender the rest of the way off because it was damaged. It was rubbing his tire, messing it up arrow-wise, which arrow doesn't matter at Wake County. But I see what he's doing. He's dragging the wall to rip that fender off, and they're like, you can't do that. Black flag. And I just want to know what he was thinking. What did he think was going to... Did he think that nobody could see him, that the thousands of people, couple thousand people there couldn't see him?
Yeah, I have no idea.
That's what I'm just like, what are you doing, dude?
Yeah. I mean, I want to win a race, but the fenders are they're rivet connected. So if he actually caught it the way he wanted to, he could have ripped the whole right side off. That's more panels for you to buy. Now, to be fair, it was a $7,000 race to win, so he could have replaced them. But again,
you're not going to win
with how the race was going right there, I would have if that's an ideal time for me to pit, get a little bit more fuel and get my fender clear.
Yeah, it was just goofy.
It was.
That's the best way to describe it. It was just goofy. I think my badass of the week. I have went back and forth on a lot of people here, and we've talked about it because I don't think I'm going to steal yours from you. I'm not. I'm going to go with Buddy Kofoid throwing his last lap slider at 81 Speedway on Ryan Timms. He was 3 car lengths back on the last lap. I thought he didn't have a chance to make it stick. Throws an insane slider, gets the car turned at pretty much a 90-degree angle. Timms has to get on the brakes. They drag race out of 4. Kofoid wins by, I think they said, 3/100ths of a second.
Wow. I gotta go take a look at that.
Less than half a tenth. Great finish. So I'm going to give it to Buddy Kofoid.
Oh yeah. Well, I was gonna go with Heim at Darlington, but the more I've been thinking about it, I just talked all that stuff about the car store at Wake County, and yet I still love the freaking car store. No matter what, you will see me tuning in. You will see me loving all those people that are a part of that series and run that series. A, because I'm a fan. B, because I love it. C, because I want to work there. I'm going to go with my badass for our boy CJ, Connor Jones, running out of fuel with 9 laps to go and coming back to take the win.
I think in this segment, badass and bonehead both, I feel like Connor Jones has been mentioned in 20 of our 30 episodes.
Probably.
In both things, because he is just, I will say, he's electric. Whether it be good or bad, he's electric.
He's great friends with one of my friends at ATYL Media, Buddy Pulley, and I want to get as close with Connor Jones as Buddy Pulley is close with Connor Jones.
We got to get him on here.
I would love to. That's the thing, though. Connor is very, and I know this from Buddy, like, he is very not, I wouldn't say bland, but, I mean, he's kind of bland to people he doesn't know. But once he gets to know you, he'll open up a lot. And so, but I've heard he's such a fun guy, such a great guy. I mean, we've talked to him friendly, but even people that know him, that he's just, I guess like you and me, but just at an introverted level, and just wants to have fun. So I'm going to give my badass to Connor Jones. Happy to see him back in victory lane, and I want to see him in victory lane again. I'm going to give my bonehead equally to Minnie and Doug. I think they're going to take that one with equal share. Again, love them both, but they'll take this one and move on.
I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to go back and figure out who's been the bonehead the most and who's been the badass the most. And we need to keep a leader of everybody.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
And like every week after the episode, we can post the leaderboard of who's been the biggest bonehead
This is a great social idea. Yes.
And like, so we have by the end of the year.
Hey, write this down before you forget.
Yeah.
We need for social stuff. We need the list of people and then our tally of bonehead and badass. Yeah. So
I like that. I think that's a good idea. We should do.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. So while you're typing that down real quick, we'll continue on with your story of your weekend. And I guess the only thing we really have left is O'Reilly and Cup at Martinsville. And let's jump into the O'Reilly series. Biggest thing was Lee Pulliam making his debut, and what a debut it was.
Okay, I have a funny comment here, and I'm going to be picking at one of my buddies here for this. This is funny. I didn't watch the O'Reilly race. We went and ate dinner with Joey and his family, Logano, and we were sitting there. We had the race on the TV in the Mexican restaurant, and he looks and he goes, "Who's Lee Pulliam?" And I'm just like, "No way, you just asked that."
Joey did?
Yes.
No way. Okay, yeah, I can't blame him that much. Before a year and a half ago, I didn't know who he was.
Well, I never knew I just knew him as a car owner until this last year.
Okay.
I knew him as a car owner. I didn't know him as a driver, so I'm not going to drag him too bad. It's just because he's been in North Carolina for 20 years racing, and it's just funny. And it wasn't like a huge deal. It was just like, it was just funny because Joey's, 3-time Cup champion, around racing all the time. Like, it is his life. And he's like, "Who's Lee Pulliam?" And I'm like, it was just funny.
Man, we got to get Joey to come to Sobo. Well, anyway, it was a fun race to watch, and I thought that O'Reilly was really fun. I found myself 1 week ago, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. Well, no, a week and a half ago now.
Yeah.
Lee Pulliam won his first late model stock race in 7 years. You mentioned it, knowing him as a team owner. He stepped out of the seat about 6 years ago and only stepped back in the seat 2 years ago and has only made very few starts. And I was very upset that I wasn't at Sobo for this race and I was at the beach. But again, no regrets. I'll never get to do that beach trip again, things like that again. Luckily, I'll get to be at the racetrack a ton. But he won. and it was a very, very cool moment for him, for the fans. You know, he's got his name's on the grandstands already, and it was a very, very cool moment. And a week later, he steps into Martinsville, a place he's won twice before in late model stock, and we'll get into talking about the miss shift, but I think without the penalty from the loose wheel, the wheel outside the box in the pit box, I think he legitimately would have won this race.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was great.
He was.
I wasn't watching it super close. I was eating dinner, but I mean, he was up front all night long.
Well, and when he wasn't, he was moving through the field. There were plenty of times there were 2 times where he was near the back, like right inside the 30s, and he moved up 15 spots both times. And I loved it. I hated when the misshift happened. Because I wanted to see him win, and I think his old tires were starting to go. But B, because it tore up so many cars, and then C, because it killed my boy Carson Kvapil. And I got really upset about that.
I saw Carson Sunday, and he just seemed defeated, honestly. And
I would be
bad.
too. I was looking at this earlier in the episode, and look, ever since I started watching Carson Kvapil in the car store, and understand his background of just family-owned guy, and just clawing his way for shots, and like all this stuff. In the 7 races this year, he's got 2 top 10s. Or excuse me,
3.
2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. And he's got 2 DNFs, and yet he's still 5th in points. He's still 5th in points.
Because he's running up front every stage.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, like this season, I get
the
so
second most
frustrated.
stage points in the series.
I get so frustrated when stuff like that happens because I know from a fan perspective and watching and just looking at the team and looking at his results, how close he is to that victory.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is right there. Like again, he was in the second row. I thought the same thing at Phoenix. He was in it at Las Vegas. Like he is there. He is right there. And so when stuff like that happens, it just makes me so upset. And I can't even imagine what he's feeling. Because I bet part of him is feeling pressure in that he still hasn't won for JRM. And so I probably understand that there's a pressure there. I think Dale Jr. probably believes in him enough that if they can make funding work, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Junior is an owner and a person that watches these races and can do it unbiasedly as a team owner and say he is doing what we need for the company, even if he hasn't won yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, it really hurt me because the day that a Carson Kvapil victory happens, I'm going to be over the moon. Dude, this is how I felt when I was like first a Joey fan. And I guess Carson Kvapil is the first driver I'm a fan of that I feel this passionately about that is at this level. Like when I came into the sport in loving NASCAR, Joey was already a winner and he was one of the top guys. Now the next year he'd go on to win his championship. And so it was already known that Joey Logano was one of the guys. Yeah. Carson Kvapil has recently stepped onto the scene in the past 3 years, and it's clear that he's talented, but he still has a lot to prove. And so I guess that's why I talk about this like so passionately, because I'm like, I believe in him as a fan. I'm like, I believe in him, and I want to see him win. And I don't think I've ever felt that way before about a driver.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was upset.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, I was upset, and another guy affected by that wreck that I've just had bad luck this year. And
I know you're gonna say
Harrison Burton.
Yep.
It's just
gosh.
I mean, man, I don't know how he stays as positive as he does because he's like the happiest guy ever. Like props to him for being as positive as he is.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, let's see. He's 26th in points. Even with how that race went, he jumped 3 spots. He jumped Kyle Sieg, LeVar Scott, and Ryan Ellis.
Yeah.
So, also,
by the way,
completely off
that are
topic.
around him,
Go ahead.
Nick Sanchez is out of the seat this week.
I was just about to say that.
Okay.
I was literally just about to say that. Well, and I think it's because AM, I guess, with them being wrecked last week, I have no idea. I guess they just don't have time to get everything together. And this makes me so upset for Nick Sanchez because last year in that 48 car with Big Machine Racing, he proved that he could fight at the front of this O'Reilly field. And so it pains me to see him in this scenario where he's struggling to fight for top 15s. Like, I hate that.
Because he's good.
Yes, he proved it last year.
He's one of those guys
this is nothing against Patrick.
Really good.
This is nothing against Patrick Staropoli, but it's clear that Staropoli had more dollars to bring to the table.
Yeah,
and that is what makes this is not a harshness towards Patrick Staropoli. This is just a situation to bring this topic up. These scenarios are why I hate that money can sometimes trump talent. And again, this is not me trying to dog on Patrick Staropoli. Just saying that in that car last year, there was no reason that Nick Sanchez should not have gotten his deal renewed.
No, and I'm going to say this, like, there is no if I had the funding that Patrick Staropoli had, I would buy my way into that ride.
Yes. If you hear how I talk passionately, I talk about racing. If I had millions of dollars right now, I'd probably be an ARCA driver by now.
Yeah, like there's no reason you wouldn't if you love racing.
So
it doesn't matter how
yes
talented or not talented you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to take every opportunity.
Yes,
and that is like when there's certain drivers that do things and it frustrates me. I have to remind myself. If I had the money, I would buy do the same thing they're doing.
And it's a good check. It's a good check of saying, okay, let's do my checks and balances here.
Mm-hmm.
What about the start of the season for Allgaier? 3 wins and 7. I mean, the O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series are one and the same right now with Allgaier and Reddick. Of just those two, Allgaier is out by 92 points ahead of Jesse Love.
Dang.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that. Wow.
And Reddick is 82 out from Blaney.
And while we're on the subject of O'Reilly, Corey Day's cleaned it up.
He has. He has done a lot better.
I mean, he cleaned it up big time in the past few weeks.
And that's all we wanted. That's all we wanted.
Because we said the speed's there.
Yes.
The shoot is fast.
Yeah. No question.
So I'm really happy with what he's been doing lately.
Hey, also, what about Sheldon Creed? 3rd in the points. 4 top 5s.
I'm still excited that he got that win.
Oh, me freaking too. I'm also a Sheldon Creed fan. Not as much as I am a Carsequapple fan, but I like me some Sheldon Creed.
I gotcha. So, we'll wrap up Martinsville here. I want to go back because we're about to talk about it. The NASCAR Raceday segment on Victory Junction.
Yes.
So,
dude, I was near tears, bro.
Such a cool feature. Super grateful for it. But I want to talk about the really cool part before that. So, Thursday when we recorded it, not the interview part, but the part of the segment that was pre-recorded at Victory Junction, getting to be in there with Richard and Kyle Petty, all 3 of us getting to record our interviews back to back to back. Really cool experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just anything that Richard Petty is in is just cool.
Yeah.
And, that's one of the moments that I have, the pinch me moment, not the, and it's funny because, I've been around racing since I was a kid, so I'm, used to everybody pretty much. And, I still think it's amazing. I am so thankful for the opportunities God has put in my life because, there's no way that this would have happened without God. I mean, it's absurd when you step back and think of all the connections that I've gotten to make in my life, like that is 100% God's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but sitting there watching Richard Petty talk, and it's just, whoa, it's just surreal.
Yeah, dude. And I guess the biggest thing I can equate this to for me was when I got to be in the booth with Michael Waltrip at that race.
Exactly.
So with the Crush 250, like I was like, pinch me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, dude, when I watched that clip from Raceday and just listened, I thought it was so cool because it highlighted Victory Junction, but I mean the biggest thing for me, I'm biased. I was like, that's my friend. I was like, that's one of my best friends, and I thought it was so cool how they were able to highlight you, as well. Because highlighting you is also highlighting Victory Junction. Like it's they're coupled together, you and Victory Junction, from when you were a part of it, and now that you work for them as well. And so I think it's really cool, and I think. I don't know. I just watched it and I was like, "This is awesome." That's all I could say.
I was laughing. This was funny, and it's just so goofy for me to say this because it's just kind of like that's a funny moment. So going back and watching it, if you would have told somebody that Emerson Axsom was going to make a cameo on NASCAR Race Day, what would you have thought?
Oh, was he in one of the interview clips?
Yeah, he was one of the interview clips. And I was like, that's hilarious. I was like, he's not even NASCAR.
That is really funny.
It was just funny. That's why I laughed. It's like, he's not NASCAR. But it was just funny. Because I wonder how many dirt people, like dirt fans, were watching Race Day. They're also NASCAR fans. Were like, not expecting to see him on Race Day today.
Yeah, seriously.
Wonder if he got a text on someone, you were on NASCAR Race Day for a second.
Yeah. But I thought that was really cool, and I thought it was cool you getting to be on the interview with Eric Jones.
Okay, I want to talk about this because it was funny. I have done some interviews on my own, and when I was still in college, did some stuff for Arkansas State TV. But when we would do studio work, and when I got to be on camera, we had one earpiece in, so we could hear the producer, and then our mic was on our chest, lav mic. And then sitting there, one ear open by whoever else you're on camera with. So you can hear fine. They put two earpieces in on Fox. And they're noise canceling, but you can hear the producer. So you have to talk back through the microphone, which is weird hearing yourself in your ear. But Eric was holding the microphone, so I couldn't talk back to my producer. And so I was very disoriented. And, we made it work fine, but I was very disoriented during it. And it took 2 takes. And the first take, before we even got a first take done, it was like, all right, I'm going to count you down from 3. Chris Myers is going to pitch it to you, and then start. I'm like, okay. Count me down to 3. And I don't hear Chris Myers. And I'm waiting. They're like, you okay? And I'm like, is Chris going to say anything? And they're like, no, that part's going to be live. Your interview is going to be pre-recorded. And I'm like, okay, then why did you even tell me that Chris Myers is going to pitch it to me? Like, I didn't say that. I was like, okay. And then so I was a little disoriented. I had no idea what Eric Jones's answer to the Victory Junction question was until I watched the video, because I couldn't really hear him that much because they don't want you to hear yourself, so they turn your mic down. And I could only barely hear him. It was kind of muffled because, noise canceling earpiece. And then they hand me back the microphone. I asked him the second question and then pitch it back to him. But I had no idea what Eric Jones even said, really, until the interview was over. And I went back and watched it.
Yeah. See,
but it was super cool.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's because they're used to the both of you would have had a microphone. And so when
pass it back and forth.
Well, I know, but I'm saying like they would have turned you down for yourself so you could hear him.
Yeah.
And so when they turned it down, it turned him down as well because it's one microphone.
Yeah.
So you couldn't exactly hear him answer you.
Yeah, I mean, I could, but it was very muffled.
Yes,
so
that's what I'm saying.
I guess that's just something those pit reporters have to get used to.
Yeah. No, and it was cool.
Super different from you've talked about your headset. You always just have one earpiece, one earphone off.
Yeah. Well, and that was me talking to you about my experience last year with the Thunder Road Harley-Davidson 200 on practice day, because I did some pit road reporting. We did some fun stuff and figuring it out, and that was definitely a much more rigged setup. I would say a NASCAR on Fox is a lot more fancied up setup with your radio frequencies, all the stuff. I think it would also be different for you if you had a straight up headset on, like everyone
But
does.
most of their pit reporters usually just have earpieces, I think. I'm not
Nope.
100% sure.
Not
because they're during the race.
During the race.
During the race. Yeah,
so it would be
pre-race.
different. It'd be different for you.
it was just
actually
kind
during
of,
the race. It was just because
Yeah.
it was an interview style like pre-race.
Yeah, and it was pre-recorded by like an hour. I mean, it was only like an hour before it aired, but still.
Yeah.
It was just a different setup. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. No, but
It
you
was
did
neat.
great.
It was super cool.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, I'm super thankful for all the opportunities I've gotten through Victory Junction, and getting to highlight that to me meant more than getting to be on camera myself
Mm-hmm.
and do the interview.
Yeah, and that's cool. And you and Eric Jones did great as well. Sadly, the race didn't go great for him. I wish it would have gone a little better. So, but what did you think of the race? I mean, what did you think of it?
I'm going to be honest. I didn't think it was that great of a race.
I feel the same. I thought it was okay.
I was there watching it, sitting at Joey's pit box, and Joey was running the top 5 all day. So, I mean, we're happy, we're having fun, but it just...
100%. Like,
in the added horsepower, I think is maybe helping.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't love the Gen 7 car on a short track.
Yeah, me either.
And the drivers don't, and I think we have to build a race car with more than one rules package. And I know that you would have to upscale every team, and it's going to hurt small teams, because the big teams, if they say, all right, we're going to have 3 rules package, we're going to have a road course short track rules package, a draft and track package, and a speedway package.
Mm-hmm.
The big teams would have not road crews, but shop crews, each dedicated to each of those. You would have your guys that only work on speedway cars, only work on your short track road course cars, guys that would only work on speedway cars, and the small teams and the O'Reilly and truck teams couldn't afford to do that.
Right.
So the Generation 8 car is still going to be one standard car across every type of track. Eventually, when we get to it, I think the rear tire, or both front and rear tires, just being so much bigger than the other series is really
I just think
a problem that isn't getting brought up enough. In NASCAR, like F1, the bigger the car has gotten, the worse the racing has gotten.
Yes, and we won't harp on this for too long. And I
don't want to harp on it too long, because it's not that big of a deal.
We talk about it a lot. Well, I think it is. I do think it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, but it's not something we haven't talked about before.
Right, and I'm not afraid to bring it up again and sound like a broken record, but I think the O'Reilly car is near, not exactly what the Cup car should be, but I think it is near what the Cup car should be, in that it has nearly zero effect of under-body downforce. It's all over-body downforce. There is a fat sidewall on the tire, so you can let the air pressures down lower. You can do more with it. Excuse me. Wow. Wow. That came out of nowhere. You can do more with it. There's the composite body, but it's not a tank. You can put it in the fence, and you can get a tire going down. I remember when I used to watch Martinsville, and I remember there was one race where Kyle Busch got into Joey in turn 3, and it bent his left rear quarter panel into his wheel, into the left rear tire, and his tire went down. That made it to where drivers had to be more methodical. They couldn't just go in and bang, bang, bang through the corner. You had to move a guy in a patient way. And you couldn't just slam on his rear, because it would bend your nose in as well. Because, again, and I'm nothing against Bubba Wallace, but he drove through Carson Osavar in turn 3. With the Gen 6 car, you would not have been able to do that. It would have plastered his nose in and killed his radiator. He'd have been done from the day just from the front contact once. So I just think the car is too rigid, and the thing for me is its heart is not a stock car. That is a V8 supercar. That's exactly what it is. And Joey has said it. He said it in our interview.
It's a V8 lot of drivers with less power.
It's a V8 supercar with less power, and it doesn't race well on certain ovals like the short track, stuff like that.
Doesn't race
I
well on road
just
courses.
and I think again it should not be a completely foreign object from the Truck Series and from the O'Reilly Series.
No.
We used to see drivers go and race in the O'Reilly Series and the Truck Series to get practice and to be better. But now, mostly drivers aren't doing that because there's almost zero translation. So we can talk about that all day long, but I just pray, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I pray that from all the backlash, from drivers, from fans, from all of this, that in the Generation 8 car, and good gracious if it's not the Generation 8, Generation 9, that NASCAR will actually go back to what a stock car really is. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I made the comment on Twitter with somebody's post. I said, I have this crazy idea. Let's take a super late model and put a durable engine in it.
Yes.
I mean, that'd be a great race car.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that's basically the Gen 4 car. But
I honestly, if you gave me the O'Reilly cars as the Cup cars,
with 50 more horsepower. Good
gosh, because why do I find myself so often thinking that the O'Reilly race on a weekend was 90% of the time better than the Cup race?
Because it was.
Exactly. But that shouldn't be the way it is. So,
No.
Anyway. Yeah, I thought the Martinsville race was average. I think you said it. There's work that needs to be done with the short track package. What about, the caution and strategy just kind of working its way out for Chase? I mean, I'm no Chase Elliott fan by any means, but I think track position was king.
Yeah, I mean, if you got out front, you could stay out front.
Yeah, I think so. But hey, Blaney,
I
think Blaney might have been the only challenge for that. Like, even after getting into the wall with Hamlin, he was working his way back up.
Yeah, I thought Denny was just going to blow by Chase, and he just couldn't catch him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was really dirty air. I think it was just the difference in tires didn't matter as much as they thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Joey's team, great rebound from Darlington. Yeah. 22 team, got a lot of stage points, finished third. I think they were third in points earned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they
moved up to 12th in standings.
Fourth in points earned.
Yeah, I think fourth in points earned. Okay. Fifth? Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
William Byron, Ty Gibbs, Hamlin, and Elliott scored more.
Okay, I got you. But moving up 4 spots is great.
Yeah.
I think we're going to start looking at the Chase picture and the way that the points system's going to work out for how many bonus points you start the Chase with. I think you have to be top 5 to have a chance at the championship.
I think I like what Dale Jr. said. I think, okay, if we're talking about this, I think no matter what, it will come from the top 8.
Well, yeah.
Now, NASCAR, somebody did the calculations, and that all the years, I think recent, like probably either the past 10 or the past 20 years, if you put everything into the Chase format, the past years of the playoffs, if you put everything in the Chase format, the champion never came from outside of the top 6.
Yeah.
So, I think top 6 for sure. And I think that's where it'll come from.
Yeah. And,
I think you could. No. I'm saying by the time we get to the Chase.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, we shouldn't be harping on it super hard right now, but
oh no,
when something like this happens,
I'm saying a number, not names.
No, yeah, I know. I'm just saying like what Joey did this weekend is very beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't think we need to worry, and we don't need to have a segment every episode, and we don't need to be talking, oh, this is the Chase picture right now.
Yeah. No. But, yeah, I'm looking. Suarez, he's dropped quite a couple. Honestly, Suarez and Hocevar have dropped quite a couple spots in the past 2 races. Joey's moved back up. Priest is on the move. Larson and Keselowski are on the move. So are Bell.
Ginsbergen's down 9 spots.
Yeah. Well, that's some of this is some of this is not quite as updated. These are spots moved. For some reason, the points are updated, but it's spots moved since Phoenix. So
That's weird.
you see that up the top? Yeah, I don't know why. So the arrows aren't quite accurate as from the last race.
Because
but I
the
mean,
points are right, but the arrows aren't.
yes.
That's
So, but
strange.
if you look at it from 3 races ago, look at 3 of the 4 Gibbs cars. Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, and Denny Hamlin are all up over 10 spots, and Bell's up 17 and 20,
Denny's up
both
20.
from 3 races ago.
Yeah.
So, also, what is up with Chase Briscoe? What's going on?
They're just off.
I think so,
like,
because
just way off.
like because I don't think he's lost anything in talent. I mean, he showed it last year. Like, he's
Well,
good
it
in
has
that
2
Gibbs car.
DNFs.
Well, I know, but I'm just
2
saying, like,
yeah.
they just something's going on right now, and it's very interesting. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm very caught off guard by it.
I mean, I still think he can get in the top 16, but I don't think.
Oh, I think so too. There's
I mean, I think,
like we said, there's plenty of time, but I did not expect this rough of a start for the 19 team.
and I know I said we don't need to talk. I think right now, Ryan Preece is the cutoff for drivers that can win a championship, and I think Chase Briscoe is the cutoff for drivers that can make the chase.
So yeah, but you're.
I would say right now you have to be above 13th at this point in the season to have a shot at winning the championship at the end.
Okay.
But I'm just looking at the points earned and then the drivers that are behind him. I mean,
Yeah.
I would say everyone in the top 13 has a scenario where they can win the championship.
Yeah. I hear you on that. So, all right. I think it's time.
I think it's time.
Close us out.
We didn't
friend.
watch IndyCar.
No, we did not. I watched F1. We'll talk about it next episode because we've got a month off from everything with everything going in Iran. So we'll have some time next episode to chat about it.
Well, with that was the B Main. This is our 31st episode. Episode 32 probably coming in 2 weeks. We might be able to scrounge together an interview next week. I'm not sure. But thank you for watching. We're going to have some links down in this bio for sure. And that's going to be for Scott's opportunity to go test a late model. One of those links. You need to go send a few dollars his way. That'd be awesome. And then just our other socials will be down there as well.